Okay, the Oscar nominations were announced this morning, and given that I have a movie channel, I'm pretty sure it is legally required for me to give my opinions on the Oscar nominations, so that's what I'll be doing here. But luckily for you, I have plenty of opinions, so yeah, let's not bury the lead. Let's just get into it, and let's start off with Best Picture, the one we're all most interested in, I think. These were the 10 nominees, and, going into the Oscar nomination morning, the kind of question was, who's gonna get it between A Real Pain and Sing Sing? I felt like those two were duking it out for the 10th spot, and the answer was none of them. So let's get into it. A lot of, there are always going to be some locks here. Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, which, by the way, Emilia Perez ended up with 13 nominations. That is the most out of any movie ever. I don't know. That wasn't a movie that really worked for me. I'll try to not critique it every single time we see it on the screen. But yes, that one did break the record for most Oscar nominations. I'm Still Here, which is a movie I have not seen yet. It's a Brazilian film that there's currently no way for me to stream it, no way for me to watch it. Hopefully with the Oscar nomination, they will find a way to get it so that American audiences can check it out. So once I do watch it, I'll put some sort of thoughts on it up here. But Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked are the other three. Happy to see Nickel Boys included. That one also felt like it was kind of on the bubble. As a whole, though, I think some really cool and interesting picks here. Some just I think good picks, like Anora, The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Conclave. I'm like, yeah, sure, those are movies I really liked and should get nominations. But even like The Substance and Nickel Boys, not movies that always would get the attention, and I think in years past maybe wouldn't get the attention of the Academy. It's cool to see those included. A few I'm not crazy about, but we can move past that. I will say this is there are 3 movies on this list I gave a 5 out of 10 or lower to. That was Wicked, Emilia Perez, and A Complete Unknown. You can hear my thoughts. I put reviews out on each of those movies on this channel. But yeah, those are the best pictures. We can move along here. Next up is actor in a leading role. I should mention real quick, I'm not going through every single category. I'm going to skip a few of the tech categories just because I don't have too much to say about those. But anyway, actor in a leading role. Adrien Brody, Timothée Chalamet, Colman Domingo, and Ralph Fiennes were all kind of locks going into this. And most people thought Daniel Craig was going to be the 5th for Queer. Instead, they go Sebastian Stan, and it sucks for Daniel Craig. I think he was very good in the movie that he was in, and I wouldn't have had an issue with him getting a nomination. But I'm also very happy to see Sebastian Stan, who had a great year, get some attention here. The Apprentice, this would not be the last time we talk about that movie. That one was very good. Also, I always get A Better Man and A Different Man confused. A Different Man is the movie that he was in. That's really good. Check that one out if you haven't already. But happy to see him get some love, although, feel bad for Daniel Craig. As a whole, though, definitely no issue with the other 4. I think Colman Domingo and Adrien Brody were my favorite out of the 5. I'd probably lean Adrien Brody for the award, although I wouldn't be mad if Colman Domingo wins it, although it seems like it's between Brody and Chalamet, so we'll see what happens there, but I'd definitely lean Brody in that situation. As for actors in a supporting role, you have Yuri Borisov for Anora, Kieran Culkin, A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce, and then Jeremy Strong. That was another, who's going to be the 5th spot? But again, they're pretty pro The Apprentice, and I have to say, Jeremy Strong was definitely great in that movie. If you loved that movie or you hated that movie, there was really strong acting in that one. So Sebastian Stan and Jeremy Strong both get nominations. Jeremy Strong and Kieran Culkin, 2 stars of The Substance, both get nominations. Seems like it's Kieran Culkin's award to lose, although his movie didn't get nominated for Best Picture. Does that hurt? You can still win, even if you're not nominated for Best Picture, but sometimes that hurts. So, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, again, I think this is a fine list. I think these are 5 worthy people to be nominated. I have no real issues at all with this one. For actress in a leading role, Cynthia Erivo, which even if Wicked I was kind of mixed on, I thought she was really good in that. No issues there. Carla Sofia Gascon, who I liked her in the movie, even if I didn't really love the movie that much. So I have no issue there. Mikey Madison for Anora, Demi Moore for The Substance, who, if I had to pick, she would be my pick to win. And I'm not even one of those people that went crazy over The Substance, but I went crazy over her performance. She was great. And then Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. Again, haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I think it's cool to see. I mean, a lot of times these foreign films don't get many actor or actress nominations, so cool to see that happen. Although I have to say, I'm very confused about. So, are we going back to actress? What happened to female actor in a leading role? Are we doing actress now? I don't know. It says actress on the screen, so I'll stick with actress. I'm confused. What's going on? For actress in a supporting role, we have Monica Barbero for A Complete Unknown. That's kind of probably the biggest surprise. I thought she was, good in the movie. I don't really have an issue with it. Although I do think there's a couple other performances I prefer on this slate. The two being, I think Ariana Grande and Felicity Jones would probably be my two favorites in this category. Felicity Jones doesn't show up until halfway through The Brutalist, but she's really good in it. And there's a lot of long takes where she has to do a lot of acting without getting a cut to kind of take a breather. So she's very good in it. Ariana Grande I thought was great in Wicked. She might be my pick to win. Personally, just like who I would, want to win. Isabella Rossellini was very good in Conclave, and it seems like Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez is going to win. Listen, she had to do a lot in that movie. I get it. I'd still lean for a couple other people, but again, it wasn't a movie I was crazy about, so that's probably why. Directing is another interesting one because it's usually the case that whoever wins the award for Best Picture at least has a nomination for Best Director, right? Doesn't always work out that way, but I do feel like with seeing the five, there maybe are a couple of movies you can cross out and a couple of movies you can say, oh, well, maybe this has a chance then. Anora definitely feels like it has a chance to win Best Picture, as does The Brutalist. And I would even say, Emilia Perez got 13 nominations. You can't count it out at this point. The Substance and A Complete Unknown both getting the director nominations makes you wonder, like, does A Complete Unknown have a chance here? The Substance I still don't think has a chance, even though it is fun to see it get the nomination. But I guess a couple other things. I think Conclave not getting a director nomination, that's notable. So you kind of feel like that's just going to be kind of what it is, of a Best Picture nomination and nothing more. Also, I wouldn't say surprised, but wouldn't have minded to see Denis Villeneuve get a nomination here for Dune Part 2, but Oscars notoriously don't love sci-fi and they don't love franchise films, so even though I think that this one is much, Dune Part 2 was much better than your average sci-fi fantasy film, I can understand. I guess I get it, but, yeah. For original score, The Brutalist gets a nomination here, as does Conclave, Emilia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. Interestingly, two musicals get the nomination for original score. Now, they did have score in it outside of just the music, but that's still kind of fascinating to me. You have to wonder how much of that is tied in, especially one. I thought there were some really creative and original scores this year. Like, one that jumps to my head is Challengers, which many thought could get a nomination. In fact, there was a couple places people thought Challengers could get a nomination, and it didn't ultimately end up getting there. The Wild Robot, the score carries the movie. Personally, I don't know if it was my favorite score, but it does do a lot of work in the movie. So again, I kind of get it. I like Conclave's fine, and The Brutalist was one of my favorite scores of the year, to the point where I've even listened to it after the fact, which I don't do too often when it comes to scores. But that one's really cool. So I really like that one. That would be my pick to win, I suppose. Adapted screenplay is next on the list. Again, interestingly, some music-related ones of Emilia Perez and A Complete Unknown both get the nomination. Then you have Conclave, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. Sing Sing was based on, I believe, a newspaper article, I want to say. Something along those lines. But yeah, happy to see Sing Sing show up somewhere, at least. Sing Sing's a good movie. I have a review on this channel. Check it out. I'm kind of really surprised that I thought Sing Sing was going to be a major player. I think in that review I even said, oh yeah, it's going to get nominated for everything, and then doesn't even get nominated for Best Picture. Very good movie though. Disappointing to see it kind of just be a throw in here as a screenplay nomination, and then it gets an acting nomination, but not much. I think that might have been it, unless I'm forgetting something. So yeah, good movie. Check that one out. But I don't know. I think this is there's some interesting ones here. Maybe not my not my favorite across the board. If I had to pick a winner, I think Nickel Boys or Conclave, but I'd probably lean Nickel Boys out of these five. Sing Sing's good too. I kind of like the whole movie as a whole. Those are my favorite three. I think I would lean Nickel Boys though. Next up is the nominations for original screenplay. You have Anora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, The Substance. We kind of knew that those four were going to get in. And then September 5, which I still haven't had a chance to see. That one is available. I think it just became available in theaters in my area, so I'll check it out at some point. Again, no challengers here. A lot of people thought challengers could be that fifth spot. Instead, it's the September 5. Of course, September 5 is going to take the fifth spot. It has 5 in its name. Again, happy to see A Real Pain get some love here. So Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin both do get nominations, even if the movie itself doesn't get a ton else. Really enjoyed that movie. I definitely deserves the nomination. And I think for screenplay, I'd probably give that the win out of these 5. But it's a great 5. I mean, again, I haven't seen September 5 yet, but the other 4 I think are really cool nominations. To me, my favorite 3 are Anora, The Brutalist, and A Real Pain, but I really like The Substance too. So yeah, I mean, this is a cool category. Not too many notes here. For international feature film, again, it takes a while to get some of these international films out to me. So, I don't live in New York and I don't go to film festivals, so kind of have to wait till these movies get here. So I'm still here. Like I said, haven't had a chance to see it yet. The Girl with the Needle, I believe comes out on Mubi tomorrow, so I might check that out tomorrow. Then I can see that. Emilia Perez, of course, was going to get nominations. That one is on Netflix. The Seed of a Sacred Fig, still haven't had a chance to see it. I want to see it. It seems good, but yeah, haven't had a chance there. And then Flow, which was a bit of a surprise, but I really like that movie. Again, reviews up on this channel if you're interested. I'm happy to see that one get some love. That one I thought was really cool. Flow also gets a nomination for Best Animated Movie. We knew these 5 were going to be the 5, but I think it's still worth talking about because there's 5 movies I would say 4 movies I really liked, and then Inside Out 2, which I thought was fine. Then Memoir of a Snail was awesome. I saw that recently. That's one of my favorite movies of the year. That one's great. Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul, I thought was very fun as well. And even The Wild Robot, I really enjoyed. These are like 4 movies that I think I gave like a 7 out of 10 or better to, and then Inside Out 2, which I still think I gave like a 5 out of 10. I wasn't like a hater of it or anything. So yeah, good year for animated feature film. My winner would probably be Memoir of a Snail, but honestly, I wouldn't really be mad at like 4 out of 5. And if Inside Out 2 wins, then okay, whatever. That's kind of how I would view it. For editing now, you see Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, and Wicked. Interesting that, there's a few of these categories where you're just like, oh, they went with the musicals with Wicked and Emilia Perez. I guess it does make sense, though, because you do have to kind of cut with the music and, connect everything together. So there is some issues there that makes it difficult. So you kind of have to, I understand it. Conclave did a good job at creating the, momentum throughout with the editing. The Brutalist kind of, almost the opposite. It did a good job of letting things breathe throughout with the editing. Although, again, a lot of long takes, which makes the editing maybe a little easier, but there was still some good stuff in there. It's always so hard to tell with editing, right? I don't know what your raw footage was. I don't know how well edited it was. I guess all you could do is judge the end product. And then Anora, again, I think, I enjoyed the pacing. I would say, in my opinion, I thought it went a little long in the middle, but also that's not really the editing's fault. That's just how the story was. So yeah, not mad at these 5. Although, again, Challengers not getting a nomination here feels like a bad call. Challengers and The Substance, both of those 2. Challengers was never going to get it. Substance, I felt like it could for a second. Like, I would have liked to see The Substance get in. A lot of cool editing stuff there. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that. Also, for sound, there was no The Substance, which, again, feels like the wrong call. We all are still talking about the shrimp eating moment. Big part of that was the sound that was happening in that one. A lot of music stuff. So a complete unknown, Emilia Perez and Wicked, which I guess makes sense, but just because there's music in the movie doesn't mean that it's like the sound is great. Sure, it sounds nice because you're listening to music, but that doesn't necessarily, I wouldn't necessarily view it like that, but okay. Dune Part 2, and then The Wild Robot, which, I enjoyed The Wild Robot as a movie. I think that I would have rather seen The Substance get that nomination. Granted, I would rather see The Substance get the nomination than at least 4 out of 5. Dune Part 2 had really good sound. I hope that one wins the award. Even if it was again, that wasn't a movie I was like on the masterpiece trend like everyone else was. I still really enjoyed that movie. So that would probably be my pick out of the 5. Finally, cinematography, The Brutalist, which, yep, that one was one of the more beautiful movies of the year. Dune Part 2, that's cool. That definitely deserves a nomination. Emilia Perez, yeah, you kind of knew that was going to happen. Maria, which is a surprise, not a movie I have seen. And then finally, Nosferatu, which would be my pick to win personally. I thought that was just such a unique looking film. Obviously, some of it was special effects, but it's still, not all of it was. That was super cool. I really like that one. Really like Dune Part 2. Really like The Brutalist. Good category here. And then I haven't seen Maria. I can't comment on that, unfortunately. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on the Oscar nominations. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.